All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So today we're going to be discussing the iPhone 14 Plus once again in November of 2022. Now, this was obviously released a little bit later than the other lineup, the 14 lineup, the Pro models, and even the regular 14 got released before this one. I think Apple knew what they were doing when they released this device. Now, there's always controversy surrounding a device when it releases, whether it's good or bad or just any kind of press is press. So with this particular device, so many people, I mean so many people jumped out there and said, hey, that's one of the worst deals on the internet. Do not buy this device. You can just get a 13 Pro Max at blah, blah, blah. Well, I have the 13 Pro Max still. And I also have the 13 Pro recently. I picked that up again at a really good price for a terabyte version. As a matter of fact, I'm recording with that device. I'm recording with the terabyte iPhone 13 Pro. It is just absolutely great. So I wanted to discuss this device and in its entirety once again, because so many people are so convinced that this is not a good deal, and I'm just curious as to why. Is it just because of the price, or you know, getting an extra lens on the back for the camera? I don't understand people's point of view when it comes to this device, because and also I'm going to add that I think a lot of people who are talking about this device don't have it. They for sure don't have it. I know they don't. So in another video, I've pointed out, and that's based on their comments, the way they're commenting, and that's why I sound so confident when I say that. I don't know of anybody that bought this device and returned it. I don't know of anybody. Like, you guys are in my comment section. I don't know anybody who said, you know what, I hate this device, I sent it back, I went back to my 13 Pro. Just doesn't exist. I haven't seen any comments like that. That's because this is actually a really good device, and you have those people out there that just jump in the comment section immediately and say something's bad. This is a stereotypical thing when it comes to a new device that's actually pretty good, and you get those people out there that just read blogs or look at YouTubers who post the negative stuff first, if you will, instead of even giving the device a chance. And I actually bought this. I own it. It's mine. And I've been using it since I pre-ordered, and when it came in a month later, I've been using it ever since. So that disclaimer out of the way, I've done several videos on this device showing you that it's an amazing device. So, but people seem to be caught up on price like everything else that comes out. It seems like everybody in the US wants everything for free. I'm just going to throw it out there. People in the US want these phenomenal devices at pennies on the dollar, and it's not going to happen. It hasn't been that way, and prices are going to go up. So I'm not making excuses for this device. Again, I've put out several videos on this device pointing out the pros and cons. But in this video, let's recap. Let's recap after owning this since it launched. So this device, because the 13 Pro Max, and remember I still have the 13 Pro Max, people tend to say, get that instead of this. I said to those people, this weighs less. This is same size screen and same everything as the 13 Pro Max, but it only weighs 203 grams, and you can for sure feel the difference. And the iPhone 13 Pro Max weighs 240 grams, folks. You can feel the difference. Now, what's the difference in the display with this? Absolutely nothing. You actually get you get the same, the same Dolby Vision XDR Super Retina HDR10 display, and you get 1200 peak nit brightness. The same thing as the 13 Pro Max. The only thing they're saying is different on the display is the Pro Max is 1000 nits on a normal term, and this is 800. Folks, you won't be able to tell the difference. I've tried. They're both 6.7 inches. It's basically the 13 Pro Max, just a little bit different. They have the ceramic coating shield, the 6.7 inch display, same resolution, 1284 by 2778. So I don't see the purpose of people saying still that, you know, that's a better deal. Has the same internals, the A15, has everything, the core, 5 core graphics, all the same. The only thing that's not offered is a terabyte option for this, but you do get the option for a 512 gig. It still has 60 gigs of RAM, just like the 13 Pro Max. The same 12 megapixel shooter, minus that additional telephoto lens. Other than that, the cameras are identical. This is the same cameras that are in there. You just don't have LiDAR, and you don't have the time of flight, 3D, whatever, and you just don't have that telephoto lens, which, folks, they don't make that much of a difference for the everyday average consumer. Now, I've pointed out before what this phone has a one-up on the 13 Pro Max, and people just don't want to accept it. 4K recording and cinematic mode. It's only 1080p on the 13 Pro Max. And the reason that's important to me is because I like to record in cinematic video. This has HDR cinematic 4K video. The 13 Pro does not. Other than that, same stereo speakers. This actually has 5.3 on Bluetooth, while the 13 Pro Max only has 5.0. Now, and I'm going into it like this because a lot of people like to be really technical about everything when they're trying to. They feel like it benefits them. You know how it goes. So this also has the emergency SOS satellite positioning for SMS and receiving SMS. The 13 Pro Max does not. You have fast charging, same thing as the 13 Pro Max. It passed through at 2.0, 50% in 30 minutes. Same thing, 15-watt wireless charging, MagSafe 7.5 Qi, all the same. There's a difference in the battery size though, 30 milliamps hours less on here. However, this gets better battery life than the 13 Pro Max. It just does, simply put. And then other than that, you can find the 13 Pro Max, like I said, now through certain carriers or T-Mobile. You can get the 13 Pro Max 1 terabyte for $10.50, which is a phenomenal deal if you're looking for those differences that the 13 Pro Max doesn't offer that this phone offers. Simply put. Now, battery life for me, I said battery life is better, but battery life, folks, always depends on the user. And some people have pointed out, well, Jay, the 13 Pro that you just got has horrible battery life. Actually, it does not. When I had the 13 Pro, I had it on the previous generation, the previous software OS. Now that I got it again, immediately when I took it out of the box, fired it up, it updated me to the latest software. And folks, I made it 24 hours and still had 53% left. So the the 13 Pro on the previous software, it just wasn't that good. It just wasn't. And remember, I'm recording with the 13 Pro right now in HDR 4K 60. I'll probably just do a direct upload so you can get all the HDR goodness you love. But now all that techie stuff out of the way, folks. And I started there because this is the way people tend to come at this device when they start to talk about it. They only want to talk about the technical stuff. It is, in fact, a phenomenal device. It offers everything the 13 Pro Max offers and more. And more. Simply put. So I like to record in cinematic video in 4K. It's already there. It's in 4K 30, as you can see there. The fact that I can actually do it, I love it. I like that you can change the f-stop. I keep it default at a 2.8. That seems to be the sweet spot for me with the 4K recording. But there is so much to love about this device. And it's the same phone, folks, but I like the color. I like the brushed aluminum. The reason, obviously, that's why the iPhone 13 Pro Max is heavier, because of the hardware used. This is aluminum. So you're going to get a different feeling in hand than stainless steel. This has an aluminum frame, and the iPhone 13 Pro Max has a stainless steel frame, making it heavier. It's just that simple. But I definitely like this better. I don't miss the telephoto lens on there. I don't miss the LiDAR and all that stuff. I don't miss any of that. Obviously, I guess I shouldn't say I don't miss it, because that's kind of wrong, because I actually still have it technically. But if this was going to be my only phone, then yeah. Now, you definitely, at launch, if you were on a carrier and you didn't want to pay outright, you could have found some great deals on the iPhone 14 Plus. Lots of T-Mobile is like the main one, man, that gives the phenomenal deals on their devices. I just told you that the phone I'm recording with, the 13 Pro 1 terabyte, was only $949, folks. And the improvements with the software, the 16, is absolutely incredible. It is just that good. So are you missing out by not having 120 hertz and then you're having 60 hertz on here? No, you're not. That is why I feel like this phone gets much better battery. 120 hertz does drain some battery, folks. Just keep that in mind. But it's up to you to determine what you think is a good deal. I'm always going to use, I think you should always use these videos as a stepping stone, or just a little something to help get you along the way. This is my car page right here, if you don't know. 23_silver bullet on Instagram. Wow, I picked up a lot of followers really fast. In my truck, let me see, I'm signing in my truck on here. Yeah. So 22 GMC Duramax is my other page. And obviously this is my main IG page right here. So I tend to look at things real world when it comes to a discussion about something. I don't care that someone is saying something about a device. Use it. That's what you do. Show me that you can have a point to where you're actually using it and getting some use out of it. I definitely have been using this since it launched. I pre-ordered, I got it in, and I've been using it, and I'm telling you, it's a phenomenal device. As a creator, the cinematic 4K is on point. You get all the goodies without the dynamic island. Some people hated the dynamic island, but then when they give you this device with really good battery, the newer technology that they're offering, and then a new color, a new design, you basically get a big 14, which is okay with me. I actually love this right here. And obviously you see what color I got, because blue is like my favorite color. So one of my favorite colors, silver being kind of the top of the line, but you get more on this device than what people let on. Some people say, oh, Apple needs to get rid of the 64. Well, now they start at 128. You can't have everything you want from an OEM without doing your research and finding out what works best for you. There are so many people that have crapped all over this phone and they do not own it. And I'm telling you folks, do not pay them any attention. I'm not saying this phone is perfect, okay? I'm not saying I agree with the $900 price tag, but I'm telling you simply this. I see why Apple made this device. It is going to sell well to the people who feel like, oh, I don't want to go backwards. I want Apple's latest. Seriously, there are people that say, no, I want the latest device they got. I can't afford the Pro. Oh, they have a big version of it, but you lose a camera. I don't care about that camera. Do I get 4K? Do I get this? Do I get better? Yes, you get it. You get it. So there's a ton of people out there that are going to have some thoughts about this. And, you know, opinions are like our bottoms. We all get one. And I personally feel like if you're just talking, you're a cheerleader. You're not adding anything to value to the conversation by just jumping out there saying something is bad. This happens not with phones. It happens on my car channel. It happens everywhere where a person just jumps out there and says, oh, it's trash. Don't buy it. And they might have bought it, had a version of it 4 or 5 years ago. You see what I'm saying? So this is, in fact, a solid device for the person who is in need of a large iPhone with killer cameras, I might add, stellar battery, flawless software pretty much, because their software is tried and true, and it is one that is just going to be working. And this phone is going to get updated for what, the next 5 to 7 years? Pretty much. Now, you know, the next year probably Apple will go ahead and make the 15 Plus, and it'll pretty much probably be the iPhone 13 Pro's body. This is how Apple rolls, man. I gotta applaud them for having a phone in every size, but I don't like that they took away the mini. They took away the mini and introduced this larger size because they're just now catching up to what consumers want, which is a bigger phone. Apple, in fact, does know what they're doing, but taking away the mini, ooh, is kind of a mistake. I think they still have some 12s on their site, but you'll have to find the 13 minis through carriers or other locations, because I don't think Apple is selling the 13 mini. It could be the 12, but one of them's gone. 12 mini or the 13, one of them's gone. I just know that this is kind of replacing the mini, if you will. Well, the 14, I guess, is the smallest they'll offer, is what I'll say. But I can tell you this. I'm ecstatic. I'm happy for people that got this phone. I purchased it. I love it. It's really good. If you want to shoot video as a creator, this can be your go-to. Look at how stellar the footage is on the 13 Pro from the previous generation and HDR on this right here. This is ridiculous. It's just really good. And the only thing I use is an external microphone just so I don't have to do any editing in post. But let me show you here that I'm telling the truth. You know me, I love to show you. So there's the, not that microphone, not this one. That's not turned on, that's hooked to the Mac. But there's the external microphone, and there's the 13 Pro. You can see it leading in right there. Look at that stellar footage that you get, and you get the same stellar footage on this device It might be tweaked a little bit to make it even better. Who knows? If I shoot in 4K cinematic, we know that's better than the 1080p cinematic on Apple's devices from the previous gen. Can Apple go ahead and give 4K cinematic to the 13 Pro lineup through a software update? It's your man Jay. If you bought the 14 Plus, forget what the naysayers and haters are saying. They're always going to be there, folks. There's nothing we can do about them. But what we can do is unite and bring positive vibes to the device. Yes, I don't agree with the $900 price tag. I never said I did. That's why I tell you to go for your own, do your own research, buy the device how you want to buy it, but make sure you're getting what you want. Even this video, don't just go on my word. Don't go on my word because I'm kind of giving a real strong positive vibe. This is an expensive device, folks. But remember, I'm a creator, so when you watch the videos, I make money off you watching the videos. I'm totally transparent about that. So when you watch videos, I can make revenue and I can keep buying all these things and then give you some difference of opinion from a person who doesn't have 10 million subs or not even a million, not even 500,000. I don't even have 200,000 subs. Not that sub count matters, but some people look at that and think that those are better creators. But you would be sadly mistaken. There are tons of creators out there that are less than 50,000 subs that are totally amazing. And it's your man Jay, the 14 Plus. Do your research. This is a crazy good device. Battery off the charts, cameras, software, hardware, all the way through Apple. It is Apple. And it also does things that some of the older iPhones cannot do. It's your man Jay. If you have the 14 Plus, what color did you get? I started to get the purple, but I was like, I'm going to go ahead and rock out with the blue. Because remember, I got the purple 14 Plus, but I'm glad I got the blue because I'm back on my blue game with the 13 Pro. How did the 13 Pro, I don't have to ask how the 13 Pro did. I know this video looks incredible. Now, one thing I will say is, if you're watching this and it's not in HDR, that is because YouTube has been taking forever. I mean, like over 24 hours to process HDR content that I upload. I don't know why. But it is what it is. Eventually, this will be full-fledged HDR. So if you did get to enjoy it in full-fledged HDR, I hope you enjoyed. But if not, circle back around again and you'll see how great this footage actually looks. It's your man Jay. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't be deterred on not buying the 14 Plus. This is a phenomenal device, and it is staying in my catalog up until the 15 Plus comes out. Who knows? We'll see you in the next one. Take care.